Hi guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk to you about one of my New Year's resolutions that I posted New Year's Eve, I believe, over on the blog, and that was to read more. I really wanted to this year focus more on what I wanted to do, not in a selfish way, just enjoying my me time more, such as like reading and stuff, because I used to really love reading, and there's just so much out there to read. I just feel like sometimes I'm missing out on some really good writing styles, and help my own writing style as well, because I see so many blogs and stuff and articles and everything like just really written really nicely, and sometimes I just feel like I wish I could do that, because sometimes I feel a bit stuck or I don't have the right words, and I think sometimes reading could help with that. I've got told that the more you read, the better things get. So I thought, well, I'll give it more of a go, because I used to really enjoy writing. Well, I do really enjoy writing, but I also really enjoy reading. And basically, I know it's May, but I've only really read one book, which is a little bit embarrassing to admit. But now I'm hoping that I've gotten into the reading bug, and now I've got the Friday feeling thing going on. Hopefully that means that weekends I could spend more time just relaxing, catching up on any reading that I want to do. And one of the things I wanted to do was do like mini reviews on like the books that I read as I go, and then maybe talk about the next books that I'm planning on reading. Well, that's what I'm hoping to do today. And basically, this book that I'm reading, Forgotten Girl, I don't know how much well you can read that, Forgotten Girl by Naomi Jacobs. This book was given to me as a gift from one of my best friends. I read an article on Flipboard, that's a Samsung thing I think, but Flipboard, and there was an article, and I read it because it just had like a really interesting title, and I was just drawn to it naturally, and I was just like curious to read it, and I read it, and I was just like, I was almost blown away, and I was just like, I was so intrigued, and so like, I don't know, I just found it really, really interesting, and I shared it with my friend, and I was like, oh, read it. But I didn't realise at the time that it was actually like an interview. I thought it was more like a creative writing, because the way it was written was almost too good to be true, and it was just so magical, because I was just like, I was in shock, but like the way it was written, it was just like, it was unbelievable, like you wouldn't believe it could possibly happen. So I was like, wow, I really want to read that, because I didn't realise that there was going to be a book on it until like the end. And so I shared it with my friend, and I was just like, oh, I really want to read that, I hope it comes out. And the woman next day done an interview on This Morning, and I was really excited, because I watched that, and it made the whole thing just feel real, and I was like, I need to read this book, because it just sounds fabulous. And yeah, basically my friend got it for me for my birthday. I also told my other friend Charlie, I was like, oh, you've got to read this, and that literally the next day in the post, she does a book blogging channel. I'll put the details in the box below. She's amazing, so if you really enjoy reading books and stuff, follow her. She's great. But yeah, back to this. Forgotten Girl. I love this book. It was so good. Like, from the moment I started reading it, I couldn't actually put it down. But the nearer I got to the end of the book, the slower I started reading, because I just did not want it to end. It was that good. It's one of them books that it's in a way, it's like quite depressing. But the way it's written, it's really intriguing. Like, you want to find out all the intricate details, and you actually get them, which is kind of nice, because all the questions in your head, you sort of, you know, like how it happened and why it happened. It's like basically you find it in this book, and I don't really want to spoil it because, like, if you want to read it, you have to read it. But basically, it was just like, woman, just wow. It's amazing. Honestly, I'll read a little bit at the back so that you kind of get a little rough view, because I don't want to like ruin any spoilers, because the details are everything in this book, so I don't want to give like something away and then you'd be like, ugh. But at the moment you don't know nothing, maybe, but if you do know anything, do pop down in the comments, because I'd love to know what you think of this book. But it's written on the back is, Naomi Jacobs went to sleep one night as a 32-year-old single mother and woke up the next morning believing she was a 15-year-old schoolgirl. Frightened and disorientated, she didn't recognise the house she was in, though it was hers, nor her 10-year-old son Leo. As far as she was concerned, it was 1992 when John Major was Prime Minister, and before the internet, DVDs or reality TV. She didn't know it, but she had dissociative amnesia. With the help of her diaries and those close to her, Naomi set about piecing together as much as she could about her missing years. What she discovered shocked her. Digging deeper, she began to experience disturbing flashbacks. Would Naomi ever find her way back to the person she was once again? Did she even want to? And yeah, basically, as you can hear from that, it's just like, ooh, really interesting. But yeah, she had a really rough like childhood. Well, actually she didn't, not until she was like 15. That's when it, well, I tell a lie, actually she did have some things, but I don't want to ruin it, because it didn't get really bad until a lot later. But yeah, she's had a really rough life, and it's really quite sad, but I'm just so glad that she wrote it, because I mean, it's just something that makes you appreciate your own life. You appreciate the things you do and the memories you've got, and I was so glad that she had her diaries, basically. I mean, it makes you wonder. I mean, I've never been one to write diaries. I don't know why, but I kind of start them and never finish them, and I just sort of forget about it and leave it a day or two, a week, and just, you know, and then by the end, I just kind of forget about it. So, but I'm just so glad that this girl basically did, because it was amazing, and I just love like the way it's written, because it's just, there's so many parts of it that even though it's really upsetting, it's actually quite funny. Like her younger self is like the most hilarious person ever, like the words she used and stuff, because obviously she's back in 1992 and she was like a 15-year-old girl. So yeah, it's fabulous. I really enjoyed reading this. It's definitely one of my top 3 books that I've ever read. It's absolutely fabulous. Yeah, so if you haven't read it, I do recommend it. Really do. It's absolutely great. I really enjoy it. But yeah, I can't believe it's true. It's a really rare disease. It's a really rare condition. So yeah, but it was really good. I'm so glad I read it, and thank you, Elle, for buying it, because, you know, it really lifted my spirits up that day. And yeah, I'm just so happy that I finally got a copy and I finally managed to read it once it was released. So yeah, I read that book and it's made me get the reading bug. I feel really like into reading again, but I'm one of them people that can't read a book too soon after I've just read the old book, because otherwise I keep still thinking about the old book, so I have to leave it like a week or 2 between books, so that I've got that out of my system. I've enjoyed it. I've done a little review now, so hopefully now I've said that, I can, you know, pass it on to my friend, because she wants to read it. Obviously she wouldn't have bought it for me if she didn't want to read it, hey. Yeah, so I'm really, now I feel like this weekend I could probably start thinking about reading another book. And this book is The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty, I think it is, it's down on the bottom there. Yeah, I bought this book like years ago, like when it was like a really big hit, and I like read the first chapter and I just found it a little bit slow, so I was a bit off-putted by that, and I just thought, oh, and then I just kind of lost my reading bit, and then I just, yeah, maybe this was actually the book that made me stop reading. Yeah, that's not a good sign, is it? But anyway, I really want to get back into it because I'm just so intrigued by the title, The Husband's Secret. I really want to know what the secret is. The curiosity definitely got the better of me when I walked into Waterstones and bought this, because and also there's so many great reviews on it, and I just really hope that it lives up to what I feel would be a good book. I don't want it to be a book that has a boring secret. That sounds really bad, but I hope it isn't, as bad as it sounds, I hope it isn't like, you know, I just really hope the secret isn't like he's got kids with another woman or something, because it'll be like, oh, that's really bad, but that's really a letdown for a book. I hope it's something like he worked at MI5, or he just murdered 8 people or something like that. I want it to be really like, oh my god. I want to feel shocked. I think that is it. I want to feel really shocked by the end of the book. I want to be like, oh my god. Because I just love a story where I'm blown away. I don't want to feel like I can get it before. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've stopped watching soaps and stuff, because they're just so predictable and it's boring. And things like CSI I've stopped watching and stuff, because once you've watched them you can kind of guess them. And I hate being able to guess the storyline before it's even played out, and you're like, really? Really? But then on the other hand, I probably couldn't write a script or anything that was half as, you know, like a storyline like that, so I really shouldn't be one to talk. But yeah, I really hope this book lives up to what everyone else says, because everyone seems to find it amazing, really rave how good it is, and it's quite a thickish book. So I'm hoping that it doesn't drag too much at the start, and it does actually get really, I really hope I get into it quick, because I hate a story that takes forever to get into, don't you? So yeah, I think I'm going to look forward to seeing that. It sounds really interesting, like, you know, yeah, it sounds really interesting, like on the back of stuff, because it just made me, ooh, you know. But yeah, well, basically I just hope it's really good. Yeah, if you've read this, do let me know what you thought of this. I'd love to know what you think about both of these books, actually. So if you have read either of them or anything, please do let me know what you think. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully doing a review soon on this one, because yeah, once I start reading I hope to get through it quite quick. Okay, yeah, that's the end of that. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.